Beautiful snow falling. Oh, you guys are so optimistic because the tweets that I've been getting have not been so kind. Let's just put it that way. A lot of people aren't thrilled about this snow, and as you can see from the radar, it's moved in through southern Ontario and it is not going anywhere. This is going to be an all-day event. We do have watches and warnings in place right now. We've got a blowing snow warning through the city of Hamilton, all along the shores of Erie. We've got winter storm warnings in place. The blowing and drifting snow is certainly going to be an issue with winds gusting 60 to 70 kilometers an hour through Hamilton in through the Niagara region. They could be gusting up to 90 kilometers an hour. So, of course, that has the potential to cause very poor visibility on the roads. The whole 401 corridor is really going to be affected by this system. Winds are coming in from a northerly direction, so the winds are going to be very cold. Wind chill values by this afternoon are going to be aggressive. These white lines, the isobars, that's what we call them, they actually represent the wind speed. So the closer they are together, the stronger the winds are going to be throughout the afternoon. Coming in from a northeasterly direction, they're cold winds. Bulk of the moisture mid to late morning in through early afternoon. It'll start to taper off and move out finally by about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. We're looking at 10 to 15 centimeters widespread right along the 401 corridor, stretching from Kingston straight down towards Windsor, along the shores of Erie and the southern tip of Ontario. That's where we're going to see the higher numbers. We're looking at about 15, possibly 18 centimeters through Hamilton, Oakville, and Burlington. More so 10 to 15 centimeters from Mississauga all the way out towards Scarborough. All right, we've got Jacqueline Whittle joining us on social media this morning. And Jacqueline, general consensus, are people embracing it and thinking, well, you know what, it's Canada, this is something we have to deal with, or again, not so much?
Not so much, Emily. Yeah, people are pretty well had it with this winter. I think it's been a brutal one, let's face it. But a lot of people are, sort of deceived by the conditions out their window right now. A lot of people are saying, well, it doesn't look like much of a storm yet, such as Monk on Twitter. And then Warning You Too says heavy wet snow starting in Burlington now, winds picking up significantly. Hold on to your hats. I just want to address the wind story really quickly. This is what we call a short range model called the HER. And so this is the most current model data that shows wind gusts in southern Ontario in that yellow color. That's highlighting southern Ontario right there. That's indicating 50 to 55 knot gusts. So easily we could see 80 to 90 kilometer an hour winds throughout the day, and that along with the snow, I can't even imagine what the roads are going to be like as the day goes on. Tom?
Good morning. It's Wednesday. It's the 12th of March, and we are in storm watch. And I wish I could say it was just for some heavy rain. It's not. It's for snow, and a lot of it. Looking at the radar, you can see everybody is now being affected by this, all the way up towards Barrie and in through Aurelia. Kingston, Brockville, just on the leading edge of this. We are going to be seeing a lot of snow from this storm. We do have watches and warnings in place in through Hamilton, a blowing snow warning. Winter storm warning along the shores of Erie and parts of Ontario, Kingston included in that. We are going to be seeing winds that are sustained 40 to 50 kilometers an hour, gusting anywhere between 60 to 70 kilometers an hour, and that is going to make visibility a little tough on the 401 corridor today. So if you have travel plans and you can put them off, please do so. Avoid unnecessary travel throughout the day today. Winds are coming in from a northerly direction. Temperatures have been dropping slowly throughout the morning. Wind chills by this afternoon are going to be fierce. By tonight, it is going to feel like minus 26. The winds, like I said, are going to be very gusty throughout the day today. The bulk of the moisture, the heaviest snowfall is going to be coming in mid-morning to about early afternoon. It'll start to move out. By tonight, we're looking at around 8 or 9 p.m., so after dinner. And then tomorrow, a much better forecast, and I'll talk about that coming up in the long range. Snowfall totals look like this. Anywhere along that 401 corridor, 10 to 15 centimeters is possible. Down towards Oakville, Burlington, and through Hamilton, St. Catharines, and through Niagara, we're looking at more of the 15 to 25 centimeter range. Everybody is going to be impacted by this. And the good news, I suppose, Jacqueline, is that it's March break, so a lot of people are not going to be out and about. What are people saying about this storm on social media?
All right, thanks a lot, Emily. Let's get into the Twitter story first. We have a lot of people have mixed reactions about this storm. Monk says it doesn't look like much of a storm yet, so he's kind of saying, well, what's all the hype about? Well, don't let what you see out your window right now fool you. The worst is still yet to come. We've had reports of thunder snow through parts of Michigan and Ohio. Michigan's already picked up about 8 centimeters of snow, and all that heavy stuff is moving to southwestern Ontario. We now have heavy wet snow in Burlington, wind picking up significantly. Let's talk again about that wind story, I just want to show the latest model data. This is called the HER model, and it's only a short-range model, so it gives you a good idea of some mesoscale events or some detail that sometimes we can't get in long-range models. So there's a look at Ontario, and we see wind gusts up to about 55 knots now out of the question for this storm as the day goes on. This is about, I think, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that means 80 to 90 kilometer an hour gusts not out of the question, and it's going to stick around for most of the day, blowing and drifting a lot of that snow. Of course, road conditions already starting to deteriorate, but Tom, where are we going to be at by the drive home?
I'm Emily Vukovic. Thanks so much for tuning in this morning. We've got lots to talk about. If you're just getting up and you're looking at your window and you're thinking, oh, again, really? Look at this. I know yesterday we were up at 10 degrees and in Niagara Falls they were sitting closer to 12. And now we have this. This is snow, by the way. This is not a joke. Do not adjust your set. We are going to be seeing snow throughout the day today. At times it is going to be heavy. It's moving in right through southern Ontario, and it is going to continue to do so. We do have blowing snow warnings as well as winter storm warnings in place and through Hamilton and all along the shores of Erie. The winds are going to be sustained 40 to 50 kilometers an hour, gusting 60 to 70, even up to 90 through the Niagara region, where we're going to check in with Mike in just a few moments. The winds are coming in from more of a northerly direction, the bulk of the moisture morning through early afternoon, and then it will start to taper off by about 8 or 9 tonight. Winds are going to be fierce by the afternoon, which means wind chills are going to be awful. It is going to be so cold this afternoon, and then by tonight feeling closer to minus 26 when you factor in that wind. Yeah, I said minus 26. 10 to 15 centimeters widespread right along that 401 corridor in through Hamilton, Burlington, Oakville, just on the edge of Mississauga. We could see closer to 17 centimeters. And then down through the Niagara region, which is where we join Mike Arsenault, we could see 20 plus centimeters. And Mike, when we started the show at 5:30, you were standing out there in a sweater, kind of bragging about how mild it was, how great it was. And now you are in full winter gear. And I'm actually kind of finding it hard to see you because there's so much snow on the camera. Right after the storm, once that is all set and done, we're going to see some sunshine. I know, that's great news, isn't it? But it's going to be cold, minus 8, feeling like minus 13. By Friday, we're looking at 5 degrees. Warm front comes in, bumps us back up to close to where we should be for this time of year. And then Saturday, we kind of level out. We're going to see a daytime high of 2. That is where we should be for this time of year. Sunday, the sunshine continues, minus 4. So I think all in all, the last weekend of March break looks pretty fantastic. Thanks, Mike. Full winter gear needed today. Dress in layers. It's going to be a cold one by this afternoon. Wind chills are certainly going to hurt, and by tonight, feeling closer to minus 26 for the city of Toronto. Everybody is into the snow. This stretch is well off towards the Barrie region and into Aurelia. We do have winter storm warnings as well as blizzard warnings in place throughout southern Ontario. That's because of our winds. They're going to be sustained 40 to 50, gusting 60 to 70, in through the Niagara region up to 90 kilometers an hour. And this is going to cause some poor visibility with blowing snow, drifting snow, very slippery road conditions. The track of the system is going to continue to move its way east throughout the morning hours. The heaviest snow, I know you're thinking, looking outside right now, okay, it's snowing. The heaviest snow is still yet to come. It's going to hit us through the morning hours and into the early afternoon. Winds coming in from a northerly direction, making wind chills feel incredibly cold. By tonight, still those northerly winds prevail. Like I said, feeling closer to minus 26 when you factor in the wind chill. Snowfall totals range a lot. Down towards the south, 15 to 25 centimeters. We're talking in through Niagara, St. Catharines, and through Fort Erie. Hamilton, closer to 18 to 20 centimeters. Oakville and in through Burlington, closer to 17 centimeters. You get the drift. The further you go north, the less snow you are going to be dealing with, which is good news and bad news. If you love the snow, you're probably wishing you were further south. If you are over winter, you're probably wishing you were nowhere near southern Ontario, but somewhere hot and sunny. Tom, if there was one place that you could jump on a plane and go to right now, where would it be?
Oh, I think Watuco.
Well, we are going to see some sunshine after this storm, but temperatures are going to remain quite cold. We're looking at minus 8, feeling like minus 13 tomorrow. Warm front moves in for Friday. Temperatures bump back up to 5 degrees, and overall, it looks as though we're setting up to have a pretty decent weekend. Oh, I believe it. It's cold and it's wet. He wants to be allowed to broadcast from the casino so he can actually, stay warm. We said no. We've got snow moving through southern Ontario, and you can see down towards the U.S. Here's the whole system. They've got snow through Chicago. Snow anywhere throughout southern Ontario. This is going to be our story through the whole day. And as you can see, the snow literally just takes up the entire screen. It is through Milton and Orangeville and up through Barrie and Orillia, Oshawa, Scarborough. Everybody is into the snow. Watches and warnings, blowing snow warning for Hamilton with those winds that Mike was mentioning, 60 to 70 kilometer an hour gusts, and then winter storm warning in through the Niagara region. Again, same story. It's going to be the winds and the poor visibility that could really affect your afternoon commute. Winds are coming in from a northerly direction. That is going to make our wind chill very cold this morning, this afternoon, and into tonight. It is going to feel like minus 26 when you factor in the wind. Snowfall totals, they're impressive, especially considering how late we are into the season. Spring is literally around the corner, and yesterday we saw a daytime high of 10 degrees. We're expecting anywhere between 15 to 25 centimeters, southern tip of Ontario, all the way over towards Fort Erie, 10 to 15 centimeters for the downtown core and through Mississauga, up through Brampton, 10 to 15 centimeters for Guelph and Cambridge, Kitchener and Waterloo. A lot of people have been talking about this system on social media, and Jacqueline, we're going to turn things over to you in a moment. And I believe that a lot of people are telling me things that are not PG, let's say. It's not family friendly anymore. What about you?
Oh, yeah. I've heard the odd one, too, that is not appropriate for television. Yeah, people are pretty fed up with winter, not looking forward to this storm at all. But in all seriousness, it is going to be a bad one, especially when we start to factor in those winds, as Emily was mentioning. So along the cold front and up towards the core of the low pressure system, just for reference, that is, let me just try that again. That right there is Windsor, and then Toronto sitting right about there. So we see wind gusts in that yellow and orange color, anywhere from about 35 to 55 knots. That equates to about 80 to 90 kilometers an hour. This is the latest model data. So on the roads, you got to be careful that not only maybe you may not get a lot of snow where you're at, but that snow is going to be blowing and drifting. So it's going to be very dangerous. Ontario Roads tweets out, turn on your full lighting system in your car. That's a good tip in this weather so people can see you from both the front and the back. And Tom, I know you've been watching the roads very closely. Chris Scott put out a tweet that says, road weather nightmare likely this afternoon. What do you say to that when people are driving home this evening?
Better you than me, Mike. That's for sure. Spring is officially 8 days away. 8 days away, and we've got this to deal with. Tons of snow moving through southern Ontario right now. And you can see the freezing line is down towards the U.S. They're still seeing rain, but everybody, Chicago and east and north, we've got snow. And that's going to last through the majority of the day today. Milton, Orangeville, down through Hamilton, St. Catharines, Niagara, where Mike is. Everybody is going to be impacted throughout the day with this. We've got winter storm watches, warnings in place. We do have a blowing snow warning in place for Hamilton. Winds sustained 40 to 50, gusting 60 to 70. Poor visibility on the roads, very slippery driving conditions. Take a look at this picture. This came in from one of our cameramen, Mark Rositas, and it's in Waterloo. Traffic accident. Slippery road conditions. So really just be cautious if you're out on the roads this morning and into this afternoon, because it is just going to get worse. The track of this system continues to bring us heavier snow for the remainder of the morning and in through the early afternoon before it starts to taper off this evening and in through the overnight. Winds coming in from a northerly direction. Wind chills are going to be frigid this afternoon and tonight, feeling closer to minus 26. I know, just when we thought it was over. Widespread amounts, 10 to 15 centimeters right along that 401 corridor. Areas further south, 15 to 25, not out of the question. Tom, what kind of advice do you have for people that are not necessarily going to have trouble going to work, but getting home?
Just tell the boss.
I'm meteorologist Jacqueline Woodall. Our storm watch coverage continues. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. How are you reacting to the storm? A lot of people not so pleased on Twitter. Kevin DeGray says, okay, enough of winter. Where is spring? Oh, wait, I think spring might be on strike. All right, just to give you an idea of some of the snowfall totals we've already seen. This is getting this from Twitter here. Chris Murphy put this out. Windsor saw about maybe 6 centimeters. London, maybe 2 or 3 so far. Toronto, 1 centimeter and counting. But the next big part of the story becomes the winds. And I know Nadine's going to hit on this a little bit more in depth, but we could see along this stretch winds gusting to 80 to 90 kilometers an hour. With more on the weather story, here's Nadine.
Today is a return to winter, so it's no wonder everybody is talking about this storm on social media. I find it crazy that it's warm enough to sleep with my window open last night, and it's going to snow today. Now, I changed that to put it into present tense, but yeah, that's a really good description of what it's been like throughout southern Ontario. Take a look at this photo, in fact. This is this morning, and you can see in through Waterloo, snow already on the ground causing a traffic accident. I do not know how we upset the weather gods, but I speak on behalf of all of southern Ontario when I say sorry. That's a really good one, and I think many people will agree.
Closed